Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K. I'm sorry. God,
Sorry
don't
about
do that. Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Gal.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Spence is here.
I am here, and it's Father's Day.
And it's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, by DudeInIT.com, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Yeah, you guys didn't see why I was laughing. God is working on his cam, and it was
I'm
being
sorry about
funny.
that.
He was being funny, turned
Clicked
himself
something
upside
I
down
was
and making a
upside
face.
down. Oh, I'm not on chat. One sec.
I don't know what happened to Nick. I mean, he's supposed to be here. He was fine all week.
Well, I can tell you what happened to me this morning.
Oh,
I put the alarm clock to wake up at 7 with my kid who goes to work. But I didn't wake up, and he didn't wake up either.
oh,
So,
geez. Oh,
yeah, that's a bummer.
yeah. You need to have the alarm clock that slaps you across the face.
Oh, trust me, my alarm clock like shakes me, wakes me. I dismissed it, and I don't remember.
That's all right. That's
The
okay.
worst
I mean, you're still in quote unquote jet lag. And welcome back.
That's the thing is I was completely okay, but this is the first time jet lag affected me. And
Yeah.
I'm here for 4 days now. So
That's all right. So I mean, but
that
he
was
did.
my
But he
present
did
my
go to
kid
work.
on Father's Day.
Hey, what?
That was my present to my kid on Father's Day. You remember who's the father here?
But he did go to work.
Well, he did. I just I don't know in what type of like it's a gas station, so you know the way it works is they accumulate points when they like
Oh,
when they when they're tardy, when
yeah.
they miss a day or something. I don't know what his point status is, so I don't know if he's going to get into trouble or not.
Let's hope that he
Just a
does.
bummer.
Yeah. Oh, bummer. Anyway, so what is going on? I can tell you. I can start by telling you about my Google Fiber experience, which I started talking last Sunday. So Monday, the first guy came over, and he's looking and looking and looking, and he cannot figure out where the box in the ground is. And he's trying to dig a trench across the driveway
With a teaspoon?
with a shovel, with a regular shovel. And he's been there for about 45 minutes or an hour. And he got across the driveway, but only about an inch deep. And I said, "You're going to be here for days. because this is not deep enough. And the driveway is like a rock, even though it's dirt and gravel pushed in, but it's really like a rock. You can't dig it. I said, you need to talk to somebody, and they need to send somebody with one of them trenchers or those vibrating blades that bury it. I think you're right. So he called his supervisor, and supervisor said, I'll be there in an hour. That was the 3 o'clock. Of course, nobody showed back up. The next day, another crew shows up, completely different people. Stays there for about, 10 minutes, cannot find the box, and leaves. They left. I got a call from a guy from Google Fiber, and we talked for a while. And I mean, I knew where the box was, or I thought I did anyway, which turned out to be correct. Because when they came to meter it, they put that whatever you call that tool, that mine detector, on a place. They
Mine
said,
mine
well,
detector.
that's what the only thing I can think
I
of. That's
know.
what it looks
I
like.
know.
Um, and on the street, on the pavement, there was a drawing that the surveyors did of a square, and farther out toward the street, a circle. And I said, okay, the circle must be Google, because AT&T did a nice job. They actually put a box on the shoulder. It's an open, no bottom. It's a bottomless box. But when they need to connect somebody, all they have to do is take the cover off, which is 2 bolts, and there is a box. Google didn't do that. Okay.
So how, where the markings were on the street, had they
It-
patched
they-
a hole, or they just
they-
put it under the pavement? It was just under the pavement.
It's not under the pavement. It's on the shoulder, in the dirt.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
the painting, I mean, they wouldn't paint the dirt. So the guy was saying, okay, so let's cancel your appointment for connecting, and we'll see what. The guy went with me. He said, okay, I'm going to Street View, and tell me where you figure out the box is. So I showed him where the box supposed to be, and he said, okay, I see that. And he said, okay, so you wanted to come into your driveway. They wanted, first they wanted to go across the driveway and into the front lawn and come toward the house underground and go under the cement walk, under the fish pond, and right beside the
that's
electric
exactly.
meter. And I said, what the hell? What for? All I want you to do is come into the driveway. It's a rock, gravel driveway. Just go straight and come on the side of the office and put the box there. I mean, you got nothing to worry about. It is easy to cover up because it's rocky. It's gravel, loose gravel, that is. And when I showed the guy, I said, here's what they wanted to do. Here's what I want them to do. He said, well, looks like, really, I mean, you will be saving us money by allowing us to go along the driveway. I said, I don't know that Google needs me to save the money, but this makes more sense. So I said, okay, I see that. I'll let you know. The next day, actually that afternoon, another crew came. Again, I was over at Omar's, and Kathy called. She said, Google Fiber is here. They want to run the cable. So I came back home. Took me about 20 minutes. As I pull into the driveway, they're pulling out. They're leaving. And I'm looking at, they didn't do anything, but there were fresh dug holes on the shoulder.
Couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it. I called Google and I said, look, we need to cancel that appointment too because they cannot do it. The next day, two guys came, two young, non-American, spoke English, okay. But these guys, I mean, that guy who was in charge, he knew exactly what to do. He said, okay, it must be in this line. So he dug a long line, 90 degrees to the shoulder, 90 degrees to the pavement. And he said, it's got to be between here and here. Has to be. And sure enough, he found it. And he said, okay, that's where it is. So he had a trencher. He did not connect the cable because somebody else is supposed to come and do that. But he buried it. He put it in the hole where all the slack cable is and covered it up and ran the fiber to the house and put a box on the side of the house. I don't understand. They have to put it at a certain height from the ground. They can't go an inch higher. And all. I said, okay, that's
It's because the photons will leak out.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
So he did that. And he said somebody else will come to connect it. So the next day, we're talking about Thursday, this older guy who was about 60
Oh, that's really old.
looked like a Mexican farmer. Did not speak very good English, but spoke enough that we can communicate. Spence, that guy amazed me. I mean, he was working. First of all, I was amazed by the way that they do the fiber, how they connect, how they fuse it. I don't have to do a thing. Strip it, put it on this side, put it on this side, close it, press a button, and you see on an LCD how it aligns it and aligns and brings us close, and that's it.
And it physically melts the glass.
The reason why I was amazed, because back in the early 90s when we had the fiber at the internet center, Fran came by and something happened to the fiber and they had to splice it. It took the guy about 5 hours because everything has to be done manually.
Yep.
So this guy, I asked that guy, and why I was impressed, that guy made a few mistakes and he said, I have to do it again. I have to do it again. And then I asked him, I said, how long have you been doing this? He said, by myself, about a week. I said, what? He said, yeah, I was training for 1 month and now I'm by myself. I do about 3 or 4 a day. I mean, here is a guy, he said he was working back in Mexico. He was working with wiring of smoke detectors and things like that. So, I mean, he knew a little bit about wiring. But to do this, and I mean, he was working meticulously. I mean, strip, clean it, put it there, cut it, put it in the machine, then put a jacket on it and like a heat shrink and put it in the, I mean, it was great. So now that he was done with that, he's trying to find the box again. And I did not notice where it was when the people did it the day before. And I said, I think it's over here because I saw a hole that was long, like about 3 feet by a foot. And I said, it's got to be here. So he's checking with his mine detector. And he says, no, over here is strong. Over here, not as strong. I said, okay, you do your own thing. And I said, why didn't I ask him to put a flag or something yesterday? I actually went and got a post and I was going to tell him to bury it. And so next people that come will have it. Well, it turned out to be where I thought it was. But he was like about maybe 6 inches away from it. So he kept on going sideways toward that hole, and found out that there was a like one of those buckets with a cover, the white buckets that has the cover. They put a one of those things up on top of the bunch of cable and poured like a bag of sand on top of it, which was smart. And then the dirt. So he figured it out and he connected it and everything. Finished that, went to the house, did the part on the house, which was a lot easier. All he had to do is just terminate the connector and plug it into the box. That was it. Somebody has to come today. Today, Father's Day. They're sending somebody at 1:00 to bring it from the box that's on the wall outside the office into the office. I mean, I don't know. This is almost like unions. I
was gonna
do
say,
this.
how much did Google stock go down this last week because of this project?
And these people are getting paid by the job. So Google is coming out ahead. One of the crews that was here, the third crew, said that this is the second day they work with Google, and they already came across 4 boxes that they couldn't find. That is, and I'm
So
saying
what, they just don't mark it when
They don't.
they place it.
That's the problem, is that there are so many holes on the side of the street. Which one is the one I'm supposed to hook into? They don't know. Also, Friday morning.
That's probably because the person who puts the cable in initially isn't responsible for finding it again. So
Probably, yeah.
What do
And
they
I
do?
went
They're
ahead
getting-
and
they're
I
getting paid. They're getting paid per each one, so the fastest they can get them in by the end of the day,
Absolutely.
they get paid. So it doesn't matter whether.
Well,
Absolutely.
we got Nick. Happy Father's Day, Nick.
Oh, hey Nick. Morning.
Bite your tongue, Gal. I don't want to hear that nonsense here. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Thank you.
So Friday morning also, I get up, I go outside having my breakfast, and I'm checking and I'm seeing I've got a text message, and about 7:30 says, "This is such and such. I'm en route to you to bury your AT&T fiber." I said, "Oh, okay, well, great." He came. Here come everybody I saw up till then was contractor. Here comes a AT&T truck, and he had a trencher and all that, and he's goes right to the box and said, "Okay, I see. I need to go from here." I said, "Yeah, the cable I moved and I put on top of the fence. They told me you're going to put a different cable." He said, "No, they don't want us to waste. I'm going to bury the same cable. Don't worry about it. But I'm going to have to disconnect." I said, "Go at it." He buried it. He did a much cleaner job. It was a lot easier to, I mean, you can still, if you stand on the street, you see like where there would have been what do you call them? The voles when they dig in the yard, and you see like a hump going.
Yeah, it's like a tunnel just underground.
Yeah. You still see it, even though they drove back and forth on it with the machine, which is, I guess, it's very heavy. You still see it. I'm waiting for it to rain, maybe today, and then I'll take the deuce and I'll drive on top of it and maybe get it completely flat. I mean, you have to know that something was done there to see it, but it's
Don't want to crush it too much because the fiber will flatten out and the electrons won't go as
electrons
fast.
will run out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he came and he did this, and everything is fine with AT&T. Now I'm waiting for this guy today. Amazing. AT&T did it a lot more efficient. The guy came, he ran it, the same guy. He didn't have to dig. He connected it to the fiber at the street, brought it all the way to the house on the side of the office, put the box, put the wire, brought it in, put a box on the wall in the office, and connected it to their modem. And he was done in about 2 hours.
Sounds like Google uses government contractors. Or
Uh,
they hire people that used to work with the federal government, where instead of having one person responsible for the whole job,
I
they hire 10 different people for different, and they bid on it. Oh, this is the best price to run the cable. This is
that's
the
what
best price
I
to dig the
think
hole.
that's what happened. But what I don't understand is how can a crew that was sent there by Google to do something just gets up and leaves? You know,
Because if they're
and-
getting paid by the job, the longer they wait there and they can't get it done.
right. Yeah, but the
it's like,
thing
we
is,
got to leave.
you contracted. What are your chances of getting another job from Google? Because these
Well, they
guys work
probably
for
have
all
a-
of them.
they prob- but they probably have a list of jobs that they need to take
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
So you're not the only one that day.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure I'm not. But
So,
I don't know
makes
how
sense.
Google looks at it when they leave, if they would ever get them again saying, hey, but these guys are working for all the carriers. They're not married to Google. It's a company that the carriers contracts with, and that company sends out their people.
The AT&T guys that were in our neighborhood, the pickup truck with the supervisor in it was from Texas.
I mean, AT&T was a lot more efficient, I'm telling you. But we'll see at the end of the day today. We'll see what would happen. And the same thing was with Hannah. I mean, she switched to AT&T and she didn't have any complaints. She said they were in and out.
You're going to
So-
find out that they installed the cable backwards. So the photons don't go in the
Yeah.
right direction. They're going to have to pull it all up and switch it around again.
Yeah, so that's my
And so when they're coming today to install the service?
today at 1:00.
So hot, you might actually go hot today.
I mean, yeah, with Google hopefully, unless they need another crew to turn it on at the central office somewhere. I'm telling you, it's just like unions. I move it from the truck to the door, another union from the door to the stairwell, another union from,
Yeah, but your real thing here is that Google is not in the business
Right.
of being a carrier. There's
Correct.
your big difference. I mean,
Yeah.
AT&T, the Bell system has been doing service since what, the 1930s?
agreed.
Literally almost a
Yeah.
100 years.
So they've been outdone with bureaucracy, though.
Who, Google or AT&T?
No, AT&T. Because Google seems to have perfected a whole brand new spectrum of bureaucracy.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
But this is what happens when you've got so much money in the case of Google
They don't care.
that it just doesn't frankly matter.
Uh,
That's
I-
what
I-
it comes down to.
I guess
I'm happy if you want to use me as a test case for that, I'd be happy to volunteer.
Mhm.
To have so much money that it doesn't matter. I can be a great example of how to waste money.
it's
I don't it's not even wasting money. It's just if Google was struggling as a company, that's when you start looking into your policies and practices and procedures. But when Google essentially is printing money for all intents and purposes,
yeah,
who cares?
They
It's not that they're wasting money. It's just not efficient. They could probably do it for a third the cost, maybe.
What was that famous quote by a senator? Back then it was 1 million, but 1 billion would apply today. 1 billion here, 1 billion there. Eventually you have some significant money.
Yeah.
You're talking real money.
So we'll
So
see.
we've-
And then I don't remember if it's true or not, but it seems like I read or somebody was saying that with the Google hardware, you cannot use your own router.
You cannot.
You can.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's
But
changed.
that depends. The thing is that the input comes VLAN tagged as VLAN 2. So you need a router that can untag that.
Okay,
and
that's
then it'll
great.
work. That's what I do. I use Ubiquiti to the port. So but that's because the Ubiquiti equipment can untag the incoming information. Traffic.
So can you also peel off other VLANs from them?
I don't think there are other VLANs on that communication line.
Or why tag it then?
I mean, it might be that if you're fed TV as well, it just comes on a different VLAN.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, your audio is pretty low.
Yeah, it went low.
Went low.
Okay,
Probably just
that's better.
the mic is sensitive.
Much gooder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, when they come, I'll tell them that I'll ask the technician to do it so it'll work. Although I'm not sure that I want to. I found something else nice about AT&T, and it probably has to do with the hardware that I'm using for.
Amnon,
Yes,
why am I on the screen by myself?
the what?
So why am I on the screen by
I'm
myself?
sorry. When you do it a speed test on a phone or on a wireless device, since it's coming from, and I can't remember, it's an ASUS, it's an ASUS 1760 or something like that, and then it goes to other TP-Link access points and one TP-Link that's actually a router that's being used. Anyway, the fastest that I could get was about 30 megabits.
Sounds about right.
That's about right.
Oh yeah, with your setup up there, with your weird wireless setup, that does sound about right.
So what I did on Friday morning, I was sitting there and looking, and I saw the Wi-Fi of the AT&T modem, which I
Yeah.
never used. So I said, let me see. So I went and I configured it and did a speed test, 300 and some.
Yep.
I said, wow, this is great. Now it's working. So I don't know if what I need to do. I may need to upgrade other devices in the house, but
Isn't Google giving you a mesh system?
they said they're giving me 2 wireless devices that will actually cover the whole house. So I think
Use
that's what
that.
it is.
Problem solved. I mean, then you don't have to do
so
anything.
maybe that'll fix everything for you.
Yeah, but the thing is that I'm using the router that I have now. I need to use that
So
router because
you'll use their router. Not a big deal.
oh well, the thing is, I'll have to see if Ron can do the same thing, because when I do a backup of Delta Force, it comes in through VPN off that router, and it's allowing certain ports, and I'm doing the audio through there. There is port forwarding on the router. There,
Yeah,
it'll be a whole lot easier.
forwarding is easy on their router.
Okay, so
that
it may
much I
be.
can tell you. If
Okay.
it's just port forwarding, if it's more, maybe you
There
need
is
something more.
VPN for the backup, because he
Running on the router.
running on the router. I don't use IPv6. I use
Yeah, no, that's-
IPv4, and what I didn't know, and maybe other people don't know it, is with IPv4 you have one IP from your carrier. So, and you cannot get a second IP. They won't even sell it to you. With IPv6, you have thousands of IPs, apparently, because it's a /64. So then what Ron did is, because for the backup you need a separate IP, he used IPv6 for that, and he's using one of the other IPs that are on that. When you see the whole IPv6 IP, it's actually multiple IPs that are within that network, that the main IP is yours. And he manipulated it in a way that it's doing it with IPv6 and it's using its own IP and it's VPN on the router and it works great. So I told him that I'm changing and we'll have to look into it. But I may miss one night of backups, and it'll be done by the data center, not by me here, because that's a secondary. I like to have a bunch of backups.
Don't have any current experience with Google Fiber. The only ones I've touched were the very first implementations. But are they still multiple devices where you have your fiber transceiver, you have a separate TA for your phone?
No,
you've got a
it's
separate, Wi-Fi.
I don't know about phone, but it's one
Is it-
device. It is
Oh,
one
that's good, 'cause
device.
originally it was multiple devices, and that
No.
was something that
That's
people complained about.
AT&T is still doing that. They're just now switching. Amnon, your AT&T modem, is it a white modem with a transceiver?
It's a wide white with one
And
light
it's got a
on
transceiver.
it. It does
built in.
not have. Yeah,
One
it's
light,
built
that's
in.
it?
It's a one device.
But-
yeah,
But
Go
yeah,
ahead.
but if you look at the back of it, you can actually pull that transceiver out because the transceivers are hot swappable. You'll
okay.
see
I
the
don't know.
little
I didn't
transceiver
even
card.
look at that. It
But-
worked.
But that's so yeah. AT&T, which used to have a same setup, had the same thing, right? You'd have your fiber media converter, your fiber to Ethernet converter outside your house, and Ethernet would run in. Now to not have to deal with as much. That's another box. It's plugged in. That's another failure point.
Another single
Their
point of failure.
modem 6 is the white one that Amnon's got. It's the one I
Yeah.
had before I dropped them.
The only
you
thing
actually plug in the fiber comes in, and there's actually a transceiver plugs into the modem.
A GBIC.
So it's all being done in one unit, which is very cool.
Yeah,
the only thing I
GBIC
hate
is a
about
little
that modem,
slide in.
you can't tell what's going on. With all the
Well,
other
true.
modems, routers, you have a
Yeah, that's a
Well-
good point. Well, yes, you can tell what's going on.
you
It
have
will
to look
turn-
in the back.
No, it'll turn amber if your internet's
Okay. but-
iffy, and then it'll turn red if your internet's out.
Yeah, but I mean the other ones you could see, hey, there's a lot of traffic going here. What's going on?
But you don't have, but
Well-
but it's not DOCSIS, so you don't have US and DS and
Yeah.
and all of those things.
Yeah.
So
It's fine.
You didn't
it's
download
working.
the troubleshooting guide?
and it will turn.
Alan? You got to download the troubleshooting guide. It comes with a digital thermometer. So you put it at a certain point on there, and depending on the temperature, that's how fast you know it's working.
Mhm.
If it's below a certain temperature, it must be down. If it's above a certain temperature,
It's I
it's,
gotta say
working too hard.
it's sort of like, I don't know if I call it foolproof. It's for people that don't know anything. All they want, hey, I just want
it's
it
what
to
they call
work.
idiot proof. idiot
Well,
proof.
again, I don't know about idiot proof. I would think this is just
Idiot
so
lights.
you don't even think about doing anything. As long as that light is on and it's white, everything is fine, like Nick said. But I like to look at the modem and say, oh, so this is what's going on right now. And
I've
when
got
I
6 lights on my modem.
yeah,
My modem is
Or 6,
behind the
maybe
desk
7.
that I need to like it's stacked behind everything. So if I need to see it, I need to juggle a lot of stuff and move a lot of stuff just to see it.
it's
I
fine.
finally have my internet reset procedure worked out where at first I installed it using the Wi-Fi controlled
Right, we
plugs,
talked
and I
about it.
realized that's not
Yeah.
going to work. So now I have it on those 900 megahertz wireless switches, and I have a 3-button setup. One turns off everything. One turns off just the modem. One turns off just the router. So I can, or the Fire Stick. So I can work. I'll start with the Fire Stick first. If that doesn't work, okay, I reset the modem. If that doesn't work, I reset everything.
This is what Amnon wants his AT&T equipment to look like.
What?
He wants all
That's
of
it.
the
Yeah,
wants it
no,
done.
I don't
He
want
wants
that.
gauges and pressure gauges and multiple clocks to verify everything's good. This is
That's
what
it.
he's describing to me.
I can
Now, Nick, now show your Home Assistant UI.
yeah, you see, that's the thing.
I do. It's funny. We set up Home Assistant all those months ago, and I still got it running up on my little screen thing over here. just doing its thing.
Yeah.
Working great.
Never complains.
I'm being badgered to use it.
Yeah.
And I don't know where to start. So
I'm
Gal
not.
is
I mean,
gonna
I'm not.
start.
I'm really not. I'm not
No,
really
I'm-
using it for what its intended purposes. I don't think.
There
but
is no intended purpose. That's the beauty of it.
No, but its intended purpose is to do a lot of scripting and automation and things like that. That's kind of what it's built for. And I'm not using any of that, but it does this perfectly.
But
Let's
if
put
the
it this way,
power,
it has so many facets to it, right?
Yeah.
And you are utilizing its dashboard more than anything else.
Mhm.
And I agree. I think that's the first entry to home automation, because the moment you will be able to visualize what your environment looks like, because it's not just a house, it's just a complete environment. That's when you can start thinking of, okay, so if I can track changes, right, between A and B, what can I do in that change, right? And that's when automation kicks in. And this system is the only one I know that you can throw at it almost anything that you can think of, right? And once you start laying out everything in front of you, that's when you start figuring out what type of automation you'll want.
and yet the alarm clock did not wake you up.
That has nothing to do with home
Oh,
assistant.
wait a
Yet.
second.
Yet.
Yeah,
Yet.
oh, okay.
This is why you get a cat. They are.
Climb on your face. Yeah.
No, was it last 2 Mondays ago after I got back from Greenville? The Saturday night I was out there, I drunkenly shut off all of my alarms on my phone. So I shut off all my 4:00 alarms. And Monday morning, none of my alarms went off.
Oh.
Fortunately, the cat came woken up at 5:00. I'm normally at the studio at 5:00, so I pop out of bed, run over to the studio. What's
Cold
happening?
sweat, probably.
The freaking battery operated key fob thing is dead. So I can't get in the studio. The program director speeds up to the back door, opens the door at 6:02. I'm on the air at 6:04.
Wow.
Hightail my way into the studio and begin the program. Welcome back. Yeah, good times.
Dang.
You need to sleep there, Nick.
You
set
know,
up a cot.
Well, we do have a tropical storm that's working its way through here, but I don't think
Mhm.
it's worth sleeping at the radio station for.
That sounds like living on the edge.
That will never happen again. I can guarantee it.
You see, with the
Yeah,
home
but then
assistant,
again, think about it. You get there, I don't know, 4:30, right? And the fob doesn't work. You have nobody to call.
Well, that's not true. Yes, when you work in that industry, everybody's available 24 hours a day. It's a 24. It's one of those weird industries that everybody sleeps with their ringer on, nobody sleeps on do not disturb. I was able to call 3 different people at 4:45 before, and they've all answered. They're not happy,
why
but
don't
they'll
you
answer.
So, do you have a key now? A
No.
key?
It's fine. The
Yeah.
battery was replaced. It's not a problem.
Yeah. But with the home assistant, God, so you're getting used to it to do this, to do this. If it breaks down, am I going to know how to walk from the bedroom
This
to
is
the
best
to the
segue
bathroom?
this is the best segue ever to my story of what I was working on yesterday.
All right.
Our friend Sarid, we've been going back and forth in upgrading a component in his system. Sarid and I are running in parallel Home Assistant for about, I guess, around 2 years at least.
Mhm.
And we started off even before that with automation using SmartThings before we discovered Home Assistant. And one of the things SmartThings was in charge of up until recently, even with Home Assistant, was Zigbee and Z-Wave communication. So Zigbee and Z-Wave communication, just a small, to anyone who doesn't know what it is, it's basically wireless communication for Internet of Things, specifically for very low energy very low energy take
Devices.
for devices that can communicate with a controller, a centralized controller, and it's also a mesh network. So you only need one controller in your home as long as you have enough devices. So range isn't an issue. Anyway, Z-Wave and Zigbee makes home automation a lot easier because you don't need to wire anything specifically to a controller. Everything is controlled remotely and it's still secure. Okay, so and it's a lot less energy than Wi-Fi. That's why I personally prefer it. Now, everything Z-Wave and Zigbee was on SmartThings for a long time, and even after Home Assistant was introduced into the system, because there is an integration between Home Assistant and SmartThings.
Mhm.
But we wanted to bring it in. The reason is SmartThings, everything relies on internet connection. Every operation that happens basically goes to the SmartThings cloud. And if you have any automation or anything like that, the logic actually runs in the cloud, and the controller is just local, and that means no internet. That means no home automation. I'll explain. Your thermostat, if it's controlled by the home controller, right? If there's no internet, then there's no automation around the thermostat.
Mhm.
Doesn't make any sense. So even though I don't have any IP, maybe I can't control it from my phone because I don't have any internet, but it still should be able to do its automatic stuff. Okay, there's no need for it to
Should be. Yeah.
leave home. Also, when the logic is local, then reaction time is a lot faster, right? There's no delays. There's no. So, long story short, the plan is moving to a local Zigbee and Z-Wave controls. There's a USB stick that does Zigbee and Z-Wave. Unfortunately, it's discontinued, but you can still buy it. And I've been working with it for a while. I've already switched off I've already gone through the ordeal of switching from SmartThings to the USB stick and Home Assistant, and it was about time to do that in Sarid's environment. But somehow when we go to Sarid's environment, and he's probably laughing his head right now listening, we always hit some sort of snag. And that snag is sometimes a wall 8 feet tall. It's like 80 feet tall, not 8. It's like it's always something that draws the process. This time, it's a bunch of TRUD-free controllers. I don't know if you know these. I'm showing it in the camera. Yeah, here. These are IKEA Zigbee remotes. They work
IKEA?
great. Yeah,
Oh,
they're
it's
from
not the IKEA that. Okay.
The IKEA that's in Charlotte. Yeah,
Okay.
IKEA.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They are IKEA, by the way, are producers of fantastic Zigbee stuff, and they're usually they're the cheapest ones, and the production value of their stuff is great, right? This is the one I use to control this light over here. That right, if I click it, you'll suddenly see everything goes dark. This is a wireless one. It's better probably because there's low light. So the whole idea of this one, this is a Zigbee controller, and it communicates with the Zigbee stick. And for some reason on Sarid's system, it doesn't work. And we've been scratching our heads for a while, reading a lot of issues. And there's tons of issues for people working with these specific ones. And the reason is because these are the most popular one. And we couldn't figure it out. Yesterday, we finally...
You need to brighten the light some.
Yeah.
Use it. There you go.
Yeah. So yesterday we decided to do a test. I got a Raspberry Pi. We flashed it with a brand new Home Assistant system and plugged the USB key to that, and we saw that it works. So now we know that the problem is the system. Something, because the system is basically a grandfather system, it's been running for 2 years. Home Assistant is a work in progress, and it'll keep being a work in progress for a long time. It's in active development. Every 2 to 3 weeks, there's a new version. Every version is amazing, brings in amazing features and a lot of bug fixes. But yes, there are some things that you might encounter. In this case, we understand that it's time to reinstall Home Assistant there. Not too hard of a chore, by the way, but with Sarid's environment, like I said, it's not 8 feet, it's an 80 feet tall wall. We're going to replace his complete OS over there because the initial choice of the server that I installed there was the wrong one. You, Amnon.
You're talking about the OS that runs
the OS
actual,
that's
yeah.
running that the Home Assistant is running on top of.
Yeah.
So there's this huge project this weekend. Right after the show, I'm gonna talk with Sarit. We're gonna finish. Yesterday we were busy, mostly doing backups, because today we're just gonna wipe everything, install the new OS, install Home Assistant as a VM there. So yeah, it's
It's
been
good practice too.
Oh, it's practice indeed. I don't know about good, but it's very,
Well-
very, very tiring, very taxing.
Yeah, every practice, and you have to do it again and again, is another notch in your belt. So that's fine. I
Yeah.
don't see anything wrong with it, and it's like you said, it's work
And
in
Sarit, bless his
progress.
soul, he's tired of it. I know he's tired of it because he needs. It's something that it's as far as the operating system, he feels right that it's out of his control because it's a Linux system that I installed for him, and he feels stuck. And I get it, but I'm there for him. So
That's what's
Sarit,
important.
don't despair. We're gonna work on this today. Yeah.
All right. All right. Hey, Spence. We can't hear you.
You're muted. Hit the mute button.
I'm sorry, I was
There-
muted because I was
Oh.
slurping water.
All
right,
you ready for
I am ready.
specials?
I'm ready. And I tried to find, I was going to read a quote from Mark Twain, but if I got to find it again, I'll go. I'll
That's
get it
all
later.
right. He's dead anyway, so don't worry about it.
All right. Yeah, he's pretty much dead. Yeah, I would think.
Mostly
Okay,
dead
so
or completely dead.
mostly dead, but revivable.
Mostly.
What was it that just had a reunion of the cast
Oh, that's 5 years
of
ago, man.
The Princess Bride? Is it 5 years ago? I just saw the picture
4.
of it.
Maybe another one. I don't know.
Wow,
But yeah.
it seemed to be pretty recent. But they got together for some reason. I don't remember what. I think it was the 25th anniversary of the show, right? Of the movie. Well, let's see. It was 2000. Oh, it was 1990 something. Yeah. Well, whatever.
Okay.
Okay. So, Computers 2K Now specials for Father's Day. Today is June 20th, 2021. And we start out with a wonderful gift for dad. Everybody should go buy one of these. It's LG Lucky Gold Star has come up with this unrolling screen television. It's a 60-inch screen that comes, if you can go watch the video, but it comes unrolling out of the base. And it's called the OLED Model RX. And it's only available in South Korea right now, but you can, if you wait long enough, it's just going to make it here. But The list price for it is $87,000.
What?
It rolls, right? It internally it rolls, right?
It turns it internally rolls. So if you have the base sitting on a long table, and it's maybe the width of the screen a little wider and maybe 6 inches deep, and you just press the button, and the screen comes up it unrolls from inside the
Right.
inside the
So
case.
you know what I'm thinking about when I think about the mechanism around this. If this rolls, right? So what holds it straight when it rolls up? If you touch it for like
It'll fall.
bend it too much, it'll fold like those those straps that you put on your hand.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, if you have to answer those questions, you can't afford this.
Don't worry. We can't
Probably.
afford it anyway.
Yeah, it's like the expensive stuff in New
Wow.
York City. If you have to ask how much it costs, you can't afford it. So, all righty. So I took the lazy man's approach to specials today and cut and pasted large swaths of products, not individual ones. Normally I go through and I look at each one. So it's Father's Day. I'm taking a little break. So at Staples, they do have some deals. They've got a Lenovo IdeaPad 3, again, that one that everybody likes so much, with an i3, $449, 100 off. Got a Lenovo Flex, 2-in-1 Intel Core i7 with $779. That's 120 off. That's the one that pulls back against itself and goes into tablet mode. Got a Lenovo Idea Center 5 desktop Core i5, $549, 50 off. And an Asus Core i5 desktop for $599, save $100. Boy, I tell you, inflation is something. The prices were going down for a while. Now they're spiking up again. All right. On the accessory side, we've got a Logitech mouse. Four different models. Pick your choice. With the tiny transceiver travel type mice, $17.99 each. A Logitech multi-device silent mouse. Silent mouse. I didn't realize my other mice made noise. But okay, silent mouse, $34.99. Got a Google Nest audio smart speaker. The color is chalk, if that goes with your decor. $74.99, save $25. They've got the Google Nest Hub 2nd generation smart display in chalk. So it's functionally and artistically matching to the audio speaker. $79.99, save $20 off. Got a Lexar Twist Turn 3 32 gig flash drive, USB 2.0 flash drive for $9.99, which is $5 off. Got the 64 gig version of this for, hold on a second. Is it really? That's $12. Well, so I would buy the 64 over the 32, a couple bucks more. And that's normally $34.99. Got two Logitech keyboards, the K400, which is the ever popular media center style keyboard that has a nice glide pad on it. So it's a one device to control your keyboard enabled multimedia device, PC, whatever it is. $24.99. They've got a Logitech MK350 optical mouse desktop wave keyboard for $49.99. We have a Cisco AC 1900. Now, I would consider this now entry level, especially with the way technology is going, and wireless AC is the older standard. Not bad, but it is a Wi-Fi 5 dual band router, $99, which is $60 off. They have the Netgear Nighthawk Mesh Wi-Fi 6 system three pack. So it does have one base station and two remotes, $249, $50 off. That's actually a pretty good price. The price on the mesh stuff is coming down. For $64.99, you can get a APC 650 kVA battery backup unit surge protector. It's $12 off. And we have a couple of monitors on sale. 24-inch HP monitor for $119, $30 off. And a 27-inch HP monitor for $59.99, which is $50 off. And the earbuds with little charging storage cases have the prices are great. I mean, just look at what's out there, and the quality is very good. I have a Skull Candy version I bought at Costco on sale for like $39, which I really like. And I love having the little charger box, put it in there and get 2 or 3 charges out of it in between uses. But this is $39, save 10, JLabs. And that's at Staples. Over at Office Depot, Office Max, we've got a SanDisk Ultra Plus 1 terabyte SSD for $97. $97.99. Normal price is $199. That is a good deal.
Yeah.
We've got an ergonomic riser desk system, which is it's 2 tiers. It's got the keyboard tier plus the desktop tier for monitors and laptops, and it says desktop riser. I don't know that it's
Yeah. I think you put it on the desktop, on a desk.
Yeah. So this is not the actual desk itself.
No.
But so $139, and this particular brand is very highly rated. People really like it. It should be adjustable, so you can actually raise and lower it as needed. $139, which is normally $184.99. They've got a Lenovo IdeaPad.
Price seems good.
What's that?
I say the price seems good.
Yeah, it does seem good. Yeah, these are all Father's Day specials. Some of them are today only. And when we get to Best Buy, all that stuff is today only. Lenovo IdeaPad 3i laptop, which is Core i3, 8 gig, 1 terabyte hard drive. It's a new product. $429, which is $120 off the regular price. And Amnon, when was the last time you heard from Liebert? UPS? Yeah. I mean, look at this.
Years and years.
So 850 VA Liebert, which is 500 watts, battery backup system, 8309, which it's got to be a special price when it comes to weird numbers like that. Clearance or something, $96 normally. And it's got what looks like it probably has an Ethernet surge protector. It looks like it's got a coax surge protector and maybe even a phone line surge protector built into it.
And a fiber.
And fiber too. Maybe. Could be. I don't think we have to worry too much about surges on fiber.
Yeah.
Although there was a condition, if there was a fire in a closet, there is a condition that can affect the fiber by heating one end of it. And I didn't realize this. You would think it would be impervious to this. It can actually create micro cracks, microfractures in the fiber and make the fiber slightly opaque. So being a fiber in a closet does not mean you're not going to have issues with the fiber.
But a UPS is not going to do it. You need a
it's not.
Fire extinguisher will fix
that.
it.
Would be more, automatic fire extinguisher, a Halon system, right?
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
And finally, I don't know how good this thing sounds. They're tapping off of Sonos, the Sonos brand. They call it Go Groove Sonaverse soundbar.
Go Groove.
Go Groove. Yeah.
Say that 3 times fast.
I can't.
Yeah.
6 watts RMS black desktop. And what I liked about this though was that it was designed for a desktop. It sits there at an angle. Now, based on the size of the phone plug, this is not a real big device. But $31.99, which is $3.70 off. Okay, and finally now at Best Buy, we've got, they called it the Tech for Dad flash sale, 24 hours only. When I did this morning, there were 17 hours and 53 minutes left, and now it's probably about 15 hours and such left on this sale. Some of these things are on pretty good sale. HP desktop Ryzen 7 for $549, which is $150 off. Philips Hue White and Color Ambience A19 LED starter kit for $119, which is $70 off. If somebody's interested in it and wants to dabble, this is a good way to get started. Although I don't know that the Philips system, what the status is of that as far as acceptance goes and compatibility with more generic stuff. People who have it like it. My son's got a lot of Philips stuff in his house. We've got the Arlo Pro 3, 2-camera indoor-outdoor, wire-free 2K HDR security system for $249, save $250. So that's half price, which means that the Arlo stuff is overpriced, but expensive. Good people who have it like it. They were the first ones to come out with battery cameras. And at first, the acceptance of that was like, oh, it's too hard to deal with because you couldn't charge them.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to plug them in. You have to go and change the batteries out. But now, from what I understand, the battery life, especially if you have it on just motion capture, is days to weeks, maybe longer. So on my Wise camera, if I have it on motion capture, it goes at least 2 weeks. But you can plug that in outside. If you do it the right way, you can actually keep it powered if you have set up to do it. I used it this past week. I had squirrels running down a cable, a thin, skinny little cable to get to one of my bird feeders. And they were literally hanging from their feet over the back of this house, looks like a house, eating the seeds out. And I had to put the camera out there to get pictures of them doing this. Plus, I created my own little squirrel barbed wire on the cables so that they couldn't get out there anymore. And I wanted to see, I didn't capture their reaction to it. I guess it didn't come back soon enough.
Electric grid.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
I had that out on my old deck
Yep.
because they were eating my lawn furniture back when I
Mhm.
first moved in. And I loved it when I'd hear "Eee!" and it'd smash because they would climb on this thing and get shocked.
Yep.
And back then there was no way to record it easy. But I would have liked to have seen that.
Anyway,
All right. So Hisense 60-inch class smart TV, Android smart TV, 4K, $379, $110 off. You might be able to get that comparable price at Walmart. I don't know. But I have a Hisense TV. It's just a plain television. There's nothing special about it. It has no smart anything in it. I use it for an Android TV. Not Android, I'm sorry. Fire Stick TV. And works great. Quality's good, sounds good. The picture quality is good. I think I paid $79 for it. 32-inch television. Okay, we've got a Sony wireless noise canceling over-the-ear headphones with, it's got Google built in, for $199, which is $150 off. That is a good deal. There's a good headset. And finally, this is for you, Alan, on the Star Wars Mandalorian Child Bluetooth speaker. So it's actually motion activated too. So he will move around based on what kind of sound is playing through it. $14.99, save $5. All right. Well, that's it for June 20th, 2021 for our Father's Day specials. Dad, not just the best tech support agent, but the best dad too.
absolutely.
Oh, and the quote from Mark Twain, I've heard it in several versions before, but it says, when I was 14, I couldn't believe how ignorant my father was, and I didn't want to be around him. And then I was 21. It was amazing how much my father had learned in 7 years. I heard that a similar version of that quote from years ago when I lived on Long Island. We got the local paper Newsday, and there was a guy who wrote comedy things called Ed Lowe, and he wrote a column called "The Years I Was Crazy," about how from the time his daughter was 15 until she was 22, he was insane, but he got better. So, similar thing.
All right, Spence, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was very, very good. I just wanted to add something about our conversation about fiber. Call other providers. If you've been with certain provider for years and you feel like you're paying too much, you probably do. Katie was here last night. She's on Spectrum, paying $85 for 400 by 20 or 200 by 20. I can't remember. And I told her about it. She said, yeah, but they have data caps. I can't. I said, no, they don't. Not on these planes. I don't know about the lower planes. She got online. She put her address. Say, yep, it's available to her. And 500 by 500, $45. A
By the
lot of
way,
people.
Wow.
What?
when there were data caps, what were the caps?
1 terabyte. Yeah. Even when
1 terabyte?
let me tell you something. I was using that 1 terabyte cap account for the reruns here, which is streaming 24/7, and I never came to 1 terabyte.
So that's what I was that's something I wanted to address, right? I know that some companies put on caps, but most of the caps are just to protect them from abusers. They're not against
People doing this or
the
that, yeah.
regular end user.
Right.
And I never get that. I never get why someone at home, right, even with a household of 5 people, will need a 1 gigabyte connection.
Right.
I promise you, 100 megabyte is probably enough, especially if it's symmetric, right? So it's the numbers. It's a marketing game.
It is.
More than anything else. People use data, measure, and see what you actually need. Don't be worried about caps and stuff, because that's what the competitor is using against them, and they're just doing it to protect their business, right? So remember that. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. And the thing, it's the same thing. I mean, here when we changed from Verizon, which we were at 4 gigabyte plan, and we never used it. And when we went to T-Mobile, it's unlimited. But when I told him, I said, we don't use it. He looked, he said, you really don't use it. So we have a 50 gigabyte limit. It's $10 less or something like that. I said, yeah, by all means. I mean, I'll never use 50 gig. Not with Wi-Fi all over the place. So yeah, call other providers and find out. Don't stay stagnant with one provider and you're paying big amount of money and not getting what you could get out of it. Now, you said, Gal, Google upgraded you to 500?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
I
basically
can't,
forced me to that.
I can't even get that. 1 gig, that's it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. They gave me 500, even though I didn't want it. I just
Mhm.
I was on their 100 plan,
Right.
but they just stopped. They stopped that 100 plan. I never
Mhm.
upgraded. They just upgraded me to the 500. It costs me $5 more, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can. It's I can always be angry that they made a change that I didn't ask for
Right.
and it cost me more, blah, 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 blah. People, they're still the best deal around.
They
right?
are.
I can bitch and moan about it however I will. It won't change the facts.
Right.
Right. And they're still doing excellent
And-
work and excellent service.
And I love their billing. That's it. It's $70. Nobody gets it for any cheaper. Nobody gets for any more expensive. This is it. $70. No promotions. No nothing.
promotion.
$70. And people
I'll tell you even more. If for some reason there is a local outage, it happened once since we connected to them, 3 years ago, and you just get an email saying, "We're so sorry, there was an outage and this and this date. We're on your next billing cycle, you will bill this and this less." It's a prorated factor of the time that it was out. I mean, it's dollars and cents,
right.
right?
They don't
It's-
have to
it's-
do it, but it's
But
nice that they
tell
do.
you- They
Yeah.
go and they say, "Hey, listen, things were down. We were wrong. We're paying."
Oh, absolutely.
Think about
Absolutely.
how much they save on legal fees on class actions by just
Yeah.
doing that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, the other day, a couple of months ago, when we talked about it, and you said, "I'm not married to any of these providers. They're just a commodity." And I said,
Yeah, they are.
"Wow, God is right." I mean, what the hell? It doesn't matter who you're with. It got to the point where it's just like getting a quote unquote IBM compatible PC. I mean, in the early days, it was big difference between HP and whoever it was. Today, they're all the same. That's it. It's standardized. So it's who gives you the good service and the price, and it works.
Exactly.
So call around, find out. It'll take you a few minutes. If you're on Spectrum, call AT&T and call Google, and you can actually go online and do it. But in some cases, it'll be faster. You can just go online and put your address and see if it's available. So yeah, all right.
Did you see or did you talk about the T-Mobile's 5G home internet offer that they just are?
We did we did that a couple of months ago. But what's
I
new
just
about
saw,
it? Go ahead.
Well, I saw more advertising for it now,
Yeah.
and it's more readily available. They
Okay,
have
so tell us.
you can go put in your address, and they'll tell you if you have good coverage there.
And
But the
cost,
prices sound pretty good.
what is
Yeah.
pretty good? What do you get?
I got to go look and see what it was, but it was.
I mean, is it wired or is it wireless?
No, it's wireless. So 5G wireless. Yeah, you just
Oh,
put a
5G, yeah.
transceiver. Yeah. So it's their with their rollout being successful and actually operating, they can now sell. They said it's specifically designed for people who are in. Actually, there is no restriction as far as it says as long as you're within a correct difference of a 5G tower, you can get the service. So it'll work good in urban areas, it'll work good in rural areas, provided you have a tower. So
Interesting. And the prices were
let me
comparable.
tell you, I'll find it. No, they were reasonable.
Nice. Okay.
And they have 3 different plans. They have one with limited amount of data. I have to go find it. I have to look.
Okay.
And tell you
All right,
what it
that's
is.
fine.
I'm going to look it up.
I don't. I use on my phone. I've been using for the last couple of years the texting app Messages. It's not the one that's built into the Android. It's one you download. So now, along with a string of new features across several areas of Android, Google is at last turning end-to-end encryption for everyone in the Messages app. Beta testers have been able to use E2EE messaging since November. End-to-end in Messages is only available in one-on-one conversation for the time being, not group chats. Both participants need to have RCS chat features enabled to use it. I don't know what RCS is. You'll know if a message you're about to send will be encrypted if you see a lock icon on the send button. Never noticed, never looked for it even, but this is nice, right, Gal?
What?
End-to-end encryption in the texting program Messages, the app Messages. For
Yeah,
texting.
nobody uses that.
I do. What do
You
people
use
use?
texting. You use texting. There's not going to be end-to-end encryption on that.
That's
You
what
use
this
SMS
is.
texting. That has nothing to do with end-to-end
But that's what they added now. They added this.
No. They're talking about if you have a messages and somebody else has a messages, exactly like iMessage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then the end-to-end connection will be
Right.
But that means that the other side must use the messages. App.
Yeah.
Nobody
okay.
uses it. I use Signal. I use something that I can use elsewhere.
Interesting.
Don't
That's
use.
true.
I say don't use the Google one. Don't use the iMessage. Use something third party, something that you can disconnect from your phone, right? Even though it's connected to your phone number and all that, but you can disconnect it from the phone, or you can run it on your PC, or you can run it from, from a different location, or something that you can run. Make it your own. Don't use something that is going to close you into something.
Did you see
So the
FaceTime?
next time you're going to
That's
buy
true.
an
Yeah.
Android that doesn't have messages on it, what are you going to do, right?
No,
So
but
it's gross.
that does not come on the phone. You have to download it and install it. It's not the program that comes on the Android.
So it's tied to your Google identity.
You get yeah, I guess you get it from the App Store.
Yeah.
Did you see the announcement that Apple is going to roll out FaceTime for Android
Android.
and PCs?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Probably going to
That's
require an
interesting.
Apple ID because that's
Not a problem,
Yeah.
because that's free. I mean, you can create.
yeah.
an
No,
app- an
I
Apple
wouldn't
ID
have
for
a problem
yourself.
with it. But this is nice
Yeah.
because I have my daughter's Android. So the prices on the T-Mobile is $50 a month with autopay, and they said we anticipate T-Mobile home internet customers to see an average download speeds in excess of 100 meg. All eligible households will see an average download speed of 25 meg or more. So they're making sure that you get in rural areas at least 25 meg or more. Speeds can vary depending on location, signal strength, and availability, time of day, and other factors. But no cap. So good for. I know a lot of people have been waiting, for the satellite stuff to improve or whatever, but this is going to help several people that I know that live in rural areas that have very, very bad coverage.
And I guess when you have that, it's not just in your home. What happens when you travel around?
Oh, it's the same system. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just have a fixed
That's interesting.
a 6 antenna, which helps because your fixed antenna can be tuned. You can point
Yeah.
it in the right direction, leave it there. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And no caps, no contract. No, you can't get a faster speed. It's all the same. So there's no tiers.
Now, Gal, you have an Oculus, right? Or Guy does.
No, yeah, we have. I have
Facebook
it, actually.
Facebook will soon begin testing ads inside its Oculus Quest virtual reality system.
Surprise,
In the
surprise.
coming weeks, ads will start appearing inside the Resolution game's title Blastone, as well as 2 other unnamed apps. So they're going to start putting ads,
Yeah, that
whether you like it or
usually-
not.
It's not. Look, it's not terrible.
No.
As in, because if it's going to be ad supported, that means there's going to be a lot more free games.
Yeah.
Now, if a game that I paid for will have ads in it,
Mm-hmm.
no way. No way people will buy it. I can't see that happening. You look at reviews on Android for games that you pay for and still have ads in them, they tank. They go down. So, yeah. It's on any other platform, so why not on Quest?
Yeah, but the thing is, here it's like that's it. You can't avoid it. It's covering your eyes, and you see it. It's right in front of
Yeah,
you.
you can delete the app.
Oh.
The real question is, will they put ads on their own? They have this lobby where you load the games, right? And so if that lobby will contain ads, that's a Facebook application, then that's going to be a downturner for it. And then, yeah, you can't escape it. And then it'll be interesting if it affects sales, because if that will draw people away from Quest into competitors, it'll be interesting. I wonder.
Yeah.
But as long as it's within free games, yeah, go for it.
Well,
We have it on TV,
It's-
so why not in VR, right?
Yeah, it's true. You have commercials.
It's a necessary evil in this capitalistic reality, right? So
Now, here's
I don't
another
see-
interesting thing. Google said Thursday it's funding a project to increase Linux security by writing parts of the operating system's core in the Rust programming language. A modernization effort that could bolster the security of the internet and smartphones. If the project succeeds, it'll be possible to add new elements written in Rust into the heart of Linux, called the kernel. Such a change would mark a major technological and cultural shift for an open source software project that's become foundational to Google's Android and Chrome operating system, as well as the vast swaths of the internet. So they're getting into putting something into the kernel. So they're going to be part of the kernel, I guess, the Linux development team. But they're going with a
Well,
different
they're-
language.
uh,
I don't know.
sounds like a marketing spiel at this point. It's interesting.
Yeah, they're going to.
Yeah. Sounds like they're measuring the water of how mad the Linux community is going to be about it.
I don't know that the Linux community should be mad. I mean,
Oh,
it's not like they're taking it over.
It's not about that. It's like the community will be mad on any change introduced, right? So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So how mad? That's the question.
Yeah. And here's something that's not much of a technical, but it's technical and political, which I mean, it's sort of like I don't feel right about this. U.S. President Biden told Russian President Putin on Wednesday that certain critical infrastructure should be off limits to cyber attacks, while the two leaders agreed in their summit to start cybersecurity talks. Biden said the list of organizations that should not be attacked includes the 16 sectors designated by the United States as critical infrastructures.
Also, he's painting a big red target on them.
Now, I don't know. No, I tell you what, I mean, this thing keeps going, but the thing is, here it is. What do you mean that these should be out of the... Everything should be off. Why are some allowed? You know, what is
Nothing
this?
is allowed.
You know,
Nothing is allowed. But if you do something with this, it's a war.
well, I mean, I don't know. It's like, hey, the hell with everybody else, but
It's
these
like-
things should
No,
not.
It's like Adam. It's like the talks about Adam weaponry,
Yeah,
right? It doesn't mean that it's allowed to use a biological weapon,
yeah,
right?
and I mean,
But it's I agree. It is political speak that has zero meaning except explaining, like agreeing between two parties what is the most critical where you need to hit me in order for me to get.
but that's
antagonized.
almost like saying you can hit the others, but not these. And that
It
I have a
just means
problem
that
with.
If you hit the others, I'm not going to start a war. Like,
Uh,
not immediately, anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
it is. I mean, here's two world leaders, supposedly, sitting there and talking about cybersecurity talks. Oh, yeah, we will talk about it. They didn't talk about it. They agreed that they will talk about it. So, what are they? They're telecommunications, healthcare, food and energy. We agreed to task experts in both our countries to work on specific understanding about what is off limits That means the rest are not off limits. We'll find out whether we have a cybersecurity arrangement that begins to bring some order.
Yeah,
I see.
that's crap, right? That is sort of accepting. The only thing I'm hearing from it is the two sides agreeing that they both have really well established cyber attack, right, and cyber defense,
Yeah.
and that they are agreeing that there is this space where they meet and they actually interact. Right? It's like we're not at war, right? But if we would have a quarrel, this is the stage we're going to work in.
Well, the thing is not a
That's why
word.
it's so ridiculous.
Not a word in the article here about what Putin told
Yeah.
Biden, because I mean, look, and Eleanor is saying in the chat, and which makes a lot of sense. I think the wording with cybersecurity is really to let Russia know we know the government is behind some attacks, no matter how they deny it. True, you're telling them, look, this is. I mean, what I would think that if the government was not behind it, wouldn't we say, but we didn't do anything. We don't do this. No, they sort of like.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about this type of talk. Okay?
Yeah.
Just looking at the way the United States is working, right?
Yeah.
The United States, and this is me as an immigrant coming and seeing things that I at first perceived from the outside, and now I see them from the inside, and I understand that things are completely different than how they seem from the outside. The United States is not one coherent entity, right? It's
Mhm.
this overly complicated system of government that that it's like the connections between things that should seem at first as one piece, right,
Mhm.
is so distributed and so disconnected that it doesn't matter what conspiracy theory you have, it'll never pan out in reality. You will never find the amount of people to collude, right, and keep something a secret effectively, because nobody can have that type of power. You always see pockets, and those pockets, when they do something that messes up the system, they usually fail. That's my long way of
Doesn't stop people from trying, though.
Right.
yeah.
No, it doesn't.
But it is never a huge of like enormous organized attempt. That's what I mean. If the attempt is ever even made, it is usually small scale compared to what people perceive it to be. I mean, even the FBI is not one coherent entity, right? Not to talk about police in the States, which is like a million separate entities, some of them locally elected, right? It's like, it's all of them actually locally elected, but different ways of electing them. It's something that from the outside, it looks completely different. So,
And now,
when
Gal,
we're
you
saying-
you understand why people are reluctant to think that the government can do anything of benefit to us, because it isn't possible.
well,
So
it's
it's just-
not. I also understand how the government does things. The federal government, right? That's one of my takes from seeing how everything works. The federal government controls everything by incentivizing things financially, right? The way they control the state, or they lure states into participating in certain laws, is saying, if you do that, we'll pay you these and these grants, and these grants will not be available to you otherwise. Stuff like that. And I get that, and that's a novel way. I'm not saying it's the best way. I don't know, but that's the way it seems to be working here.
Yeah.
Now, I have zero understanding of the Russian way of government, especially after the USSR has been disbanded, right? Because with the USSR, there's been a lot of, well, at least fiction, right? I don't know how much of it was accurate because I've never lived through it. I've never experienced it, and even talking with my Russian friends, and back in Israel after the 90s,
There was a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
1990, probably 50% of the people that I was interacting daily were Russian immigrants, and I've never got the sense that the Russian government is any different. It is not this all foreseeing. There is a lot of attempt of it being and controlling and doing it, but the Russian government today, after the disbanding of the KGB, and I'm not saying it went away completely. It probably morphed to something else, but it's not like this overseeing evil thing. It just works with a different set of values, and
Well, I think
there
that
is a
they're.
lot of chaos.
Well,
right?
I think what happened was you took and decentralized the corruption out now to where it's a financial thing to the oligarchs and the people who have control over the oil industry or whatever, and they don't really have energy as far as a big product,
Right.
to sell. So that was carved up when the government fell apart. The control over those resources was carved out to the people who had the most power to grab it.
Right. And probably one of the reasons they have a leader and that is deemed successful by them, right? Like Putin, is because he does rule with some force, right? That is probably only possible in a situation like that. Now, something stated the way that what I hear in that caption, right, of Biden says, telling Putin that there should be limits and stuff. That sounds like these people that Biden is representing live in a world, right, that is completely different than what these people are living in, and they're trying to get into some sort of agreement of how to interact. And I don't think Biden has any control on the cyber attack that is discussed. It's just he thinks that he can control whatever he's describing.
He hopes.
And Putin doesn't even care. That's my
Right.
take of all of this usually, right? He cares about a lot of things, but he doesn't care who in his government is cyber attacking or not. It's like, it seems like the stage is completely misread by the two sides.
Yeah.
That's how it seems.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're
Anyway,
wrong.
anyway.
It's just
In the meantime, back to attacks and ransomware and all that, Ukraine arrested a bunch of people. Said the arrest marked the first time a law enforcement agency has announced a mass arrest of a prolific hacker group that has extorted Americans by either encrypting an organization's files or threatening to leak them to the public. The gang, known as C10P or CIOP, whatever it is, has hacked a number of American targets, including University of Miami, Stanford University, University of Maryland, and University of Colorado. Why all the universities? That's interesting. Demanding a payment to either keep their systems functional or not publish material they were able to steal. The bust comes as ransomware has gone from quietly pervasive cybersecurity problem to a broadly discussed national security issue, thanks to a series of high-profile attacks that have threatened to cripple some U.S. supply chain. So Ukraine is doing something. It's very interesting. A little country. Yep. Well, they're not that little, but they did something. So good for them. Catch 'em.
They are struggling with trying to root out the deep corruption that came with being part of the Soviet
And we'll see.
not
It doesn't.
architecture.
It
but
doesn't
infra-
matter as long
Oh
as.
no, but I mean there are people who get elected on as reformers,
Mhm.
and either they get maybe something small done, and then they're gone, or somebody takes them out, or they get bought out. But it's just it's the courage of an individual to try to go into that situation in government there and try to. They have a better chance than they do in Russia, obviously, but
Yeah. Well. Here's something else that I wonder how long before it comes here, since it's not much to be with technology. Companies are stepping up the pressure on workers to get vaccinated, not necessarily with mandates, but with strong nudges. For months, many employers have attempted to coax workers into receiving a COVID-19 vaccine. Companies dangled cash, time off, and other prizes to encourage. Executives made personal appeals in town hall meetings and internal memos. Now, some of those efforts are taking a more assertive and urgent tone. While most employers haven't flat out ordered staff to get vaccinated, many are asking workers to report their vaccination status or are implementing policy that restricts the activities of vaccinated workers. How long do you think before it happens everywhere? And there's another story that's even worse than that. The government of Pakistan, about Pakistan's largest province, Punjab, has decided to block SIM cards of unvaccinated citizens. One of the largest newspaper in India is reporting this, citing reports from news agency ANI. So, hey, you didn't get vaccinated? You don't have a cell phone.
I just want to bring up
Damn.
a point.
What?
I just want to bring up a point.
Yeah.
This is not a political point. This is a science point. The vaccine, COVID-19 vaccines, I don't care where you fall on them, they don't prevent the virus. That's not what they're intended to do. They're to stop the severe impacts and effects of the virus. It doesn't stop transmission. It doesn't stop
Right.
spread. People
Yeah.
still get it. It just that's why they say it's 99% likely to keep you out of the hospital.
Stops you from dying.
Correct. But that's what I'm saying is it's not stopping you from getting it. It's just stopping the severe impacts. So it's not like it makes you immune to it. It just makes your symptoms far less severe, which yes, correct. Can stop you from dying. That's what I find so weird about like shutting off people's cell phones and things like that, is it's not like the people that have the vaccine are immune from it. They just probably won't get the severe impacts of it. It's not like it doesn't stop them from getting. I mean, Bill Maher got it and he had already had the vaccine. It doesn't stop it. It just makes it less severe.
But that's the same as the flu vaccine.
Correct.
That's the same as probably almost any other vaccine. It's all about preparing your body
Correct.
for the point where it will interact with
The
the virus.
possibility.
Now, let's put it this way: there is a percentage of chance, right, that you will interact with this virus. Maybe not even once, right? And if you can prepare your body in advance, at someday my house will be hit by a hailstorm, right? What do I do?
Yeah, insurance.
Do I keep the hole in the roof, or do I cover it?
But you have
It won't
insurance.
stop
So
the hailstorm from coming.
No.
you just get a blue tarp and you put it over your house.
that's my point. Is that's what it's so weird
That's-
about when you talk about treating people differently. When it's the people that have the vaccine are not they're not immune from it. It's not like they've got a bubble around themselves that stops them from being susceptible to it. It just makes them less likely to have the severe impacts. 99% chance of keeping you out of the hospital. That's the selling point.
Yeah.
So that's what I find so weird when they say where they're shutting
Shut
off
the cell
healthy
phone.
people's cell phones. For what reason?
I would love to just see it at the end that something would come up and said, you know what, really the vaccine is not what brought it way down. It was just a natural occurrence, and then people are going to say, see, Trump was right. He said it's going to just die and go away.
The vaccine definitely helps in some
yeah,
regard.
yeah.
But this
I'm just
idea
saying,
that
it would be
this,
nice.
this idea that people that don't get the vaccine are some sort of walking biohazard is insanity. It's just it's not. It doesn't make it's illogical.
Yeah,
With or without the vaccine, you were just as likely to
to get it.
contract the virus.
Yeah.
It's just how bad does it affect you?
Agreed.
That's what I find so odd when we talk about employers mandating it and then shutting off cell phones. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Papers, please. Hello.
It sounds like we're being nudged into be accepting, what do they call it in China, where your social standing
A
is
social credit
measured-
system.
social credit system. So you're gonna have a credit system that says if you participate in these programs, you'll get benefits that other people won't have.
But
It's very
but
odd.
but remember
so it's a
what
way.
remember one thing: a magnet will not stick to your arm, no matter how many people say that. It will not stick.
I can get it to stick.
All right. Listen to what
have-
happened with Apple.
I have glue.
Apple paid a multi-million-dollar settlement to a woman after iPhone repair techs posted risque pictures from her phone to Facebook.
Wow. That's a ballsy move.
Was it actual
That's-
Was it actual Apple employees or authorized?
I don't know, citing legal.
Authorized repair.
It doesn't say, but it says that Apple paid it. So I don't know if,
Yeah,
How it-
because it happened on their watch.
I mean,
Probably.
these people have nothing better to do to go around and,
Assholes.
Well, this has happened multiple times with Best Buy.
yeah.
They've had breaches. People have posted.
They were
stuff and-
working-
And
they were
people have
working with-
stolen music from people's phones, and it happens at car dealerships. They steal music from people's radios, and so one person got millions. So that's just the one we heard about.
Yeah, that's just the one we hear about.
Yeah, the other ones that probably just get settled out of court or don't get a lot of attention.
Well, at least the next settlement will be a bit higher.
So who's got a Nest? Nest.
Not anymore. I had one. Not anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
Wait a second. Is that they're not talking about? I think I read it somewhere. But here, with the heat wave gripping Texas, and in effort to prevent another collapse of the power grid as happened in February during cold weather, Texas is, for the third day in a row, asking residents to conserve electricity. Some people in the Houston area have come home to find the temperature in their home are still warm, in the high 70s to low 80s, despite their air conditioning running all day. And here's a local Texas reporter tells this story. The family smart thermostat was installed a few years ago as part of a new home security package. Many smart thermostats can be enrolled in a program called Smart Savers Texas. It's operated by a company called Energy Hub. The agreement states that in exchange for an entry into sweepstakes, electric customers allow them to control their thermostats during periods of high energy demand. Energy Hub's list of its clients include EXU Energy, Centerpoint, and ERCOT. I guess these are different electrical companies in Texas. They spoke to one Texas resident who obviously wasn't even aware of what he'd agreed to when the smart thermostat was installed. As soon as he found out, he immediately unenrolled from the program, complaining, "If somebody else can manipulate this, I'm not for it." So I guess the company just lowered everybody's or up everybody temperatures to save electricity, maybe by coaxed by the electrical the
And
electric.
people think they get a $200 thermostat for free. No, I blame the people completely. It's
Yeah.
not the electric company. I've been pondering. I mean, Duke Energy in our area, they've been sending letters from
Yep.
the day I've stepped in, right?
Yep.
To enroll to this, and I've always been thinking about this. So I'm on the one hand, I am for, right,
Saving.
community responsibility,
Yeah.
right, and that it makes sense in a way, right? The concept itself makes some sense. If the grid is in danger of getting overheated, right, overused, there should be. But then again, remember why it's overused. It's overused because one of my neighbors, right, is cranking up their AC.
Mhm.
So I need to step down because of that. This is not if this was for everyone, yes, I'm for it. Definitely for it.
Yeah,
And
better
the way
lose some cooling than lose electricity altogether.
Well, yeah, because you're
Right.
going to be part of a
Yeah.
rolling blackout
Yeah.
if you don't.
Go ahead.
exactly. But I don't know what happens in Texas, but over here you actually get a deduction to your monthly bill.
A yearly bill, 50
It's
bucks.
It's a different program.
Yeah.
The one in
but
Texas
that-
was I don't think it was people did not sign up necessarily with the utility company. That they
Right.
didn't. The EULA wasn't with the utility company. EULA with the contractor that installed the thermostat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
yeah.
they were part of a larger program that used this monitoring system that could control them. Did it say what? I tried to find in the article. The one I saw had a picture and it showed an Ecobee thermostat on the wall, but I don't know if there was a specific model that was supported or part of the program. So
It'll be interesting to try to find out who of the cloud controlling companies had the agreement with, right? And
Yeah.
how the enrollment had. Because it
Yeah.
sounds like if you need to enroll, then it needs to some sort of API needs to identify, right? The end thermostat, the end. It's weird. But yeah, that's why I switched to a thermostat that is completely controlled within my home without going out to the internet. That's part of it.
Mhm.
And it cost only around $40, not 200.
which one
It's
did
still
you get?
controlled to the smart. It's a Centralite. It's a Zigbee one, and works great. Not as nice as the Ecobee or the not as pleasing to the eye, but it's not like horrendous or anything. It worked.
Yeah, as soon as I'm done here, I'm heading under the house to see if the fuse is blown on my control board. I want to know if it's the AC that fried the thermostat or is it the thermostat that fried the AC?
Well, you do know at which point the burnout happened, right?
Well, I can see the physical evidence on the thermostat, and that could be it shorted internally, which blew the fuse on the control board. Which is it said the thermostat is possible if you short the wires, the 24 volts coming up from the thermostat, that you can pop the fuse on the control board. And that's why, I mean, literally everything is dead. I mean, I have no
power.
indication. No, it looks like there's no power to the unit under the house. There's no LEDs flashing, nothing. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make sure I've got power to that. The circuit breaker's on and I've reset it to it wasn't popped. So the first thing I'll do, I'll check the power. Then I'm going to look at the fuse and I'll replace
Well,
the
the house
fuse.
is still cool.
No, the downstairs isn't working. My
Oh,
upstairs is still working.
But that's good in the
downstairs.
summer because cold air comes
Oh,
down.
it moves down. Yeah, it's not horrible downstairs. It wasn't. It was only until I walked up to go to bed last night that I realized that the upstairs was so much cooler than downstairs. I didn't even notice it. But it happened. It had to have happened sometime in the last 24 hours because I know it was working on Friday.
Yeah. Well,
So I took
Hopefully that's all it is.
hopefully, and I'm going to get I'll hopefully get a warranty replaced Ecobee. But I took the 3 screws out behind it there, and I did, the cover did not come off, so there must be one under the label, and I can't pull that off without probably voiding the warranty. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, there's no need for you to open it.
No, there's no
Nope.
reason.
How much is this?
I got this at Costco. I can't remember. I think it was a really good package deal. This plus one remote sensor and one remote contact, like door contact, because they also sell.
And how much?
I
Roughly.
want to say like $149.
Okay. All right.
It was really good for it was the best price for a bundle that I saw. You could buy the Ecobee 3 Lite. I think on sale it might have been like $149, and I got the whole thing for $149 because I wanted the sensor. I wanted the sensor in the living room.
Yeah.
Because my thermostat is installed in the stupidest possible place you can put it, behind a door that when it's open, and 1 foot above and 2 feet over from the return.
That's bad. Who did
That's really
that?
bad. The builder to build a house.
Jeez.
That's why I set the reason I wanted Ecobee was because I could set up the remote sensor that it doesn't doesn't sense the temperature at the thermostat. It uses the remote sensor to adjust the temperature.
Yeah.
So that's one of the benefits of Ecobee that I really like.
All right, keep us posted.
Yeah, I will. We'll see how
Meanwhile,
it goes.
if for those of you that have Apple devices, Apple is cutting the prices for its Apple Care Plus extended warranty for both its M1 MacBook Air and MacBook Pro laptop. Apple Care for the new M1 Air now costs $199 versus $249, so it's $50 less. While Apple Care for the M1 Pro is down $20 from $249. Sorry, $249. So apparently it was $269. This was spotted by Mac Rumors. If you've got an Intel-based laptop, those price cuts are a mixed bag. Apple is applying the $199 price for the MacBook Air to both the M1 and Intel-based model, even though it no longer directly sells the Intel Airs. If you got an Intel-based Pro, on the other hand, which Apple does still offer, at least for now, you won't be getting any discount. Apple Care Plus for that model will still cost the same $269 as before. So for the laptops, find out. I wonder if you just paid it like a year ago, if they're going to reimburse you for the difference. All right. Well, I guess that'll be it for today, unless somebody has something else they want to add here. Guys,
Have a good week.
Nick, anything you wanted to add? We're kind of quietish.
No, nothing in particular.
All right. Guys, so I guess you're going to go work with Sarid. Lots of
Yeah,
fun.
right after this, I'm gonna call him. We're gonna start
Yep.
another process, and then later on, I'm gonna see him.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody. And again, happy Father's Day to everybody. Thank you, Gal, Nick, Spence. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna, Dina, Arlet and Micha, Eleanor, Sarid. Thanks everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Remember, Nick is on the air 6 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday at 980 The Wave in Wilmington. And Tuesday evening at 7 p.m., Nick and Brian are doing the Infection Podcast, a show about gaming, survival games on Twitch. That's at 7 p.m. on Twitch. Have a good one, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.